In the year 2149, life on Mars was quiet but lonely. Captain Ray Carter, a retired space pilot, lived alone on Mars Frontier Station. Once he was a hero in the Earth-Mars War. Now he just repaired satellites and drank bad coffee. Ray spent his days watching the stars and scanning the empty space. It was boring. That's how he liked it. He didn't want danger anymore. He had seen too much death in the war. But everything changed one cold morning. Ray was checking his long-range scanner. Suddenly, a strange signal appeared on the screen. Unknown frequency detected. The computer said. Ray leaned forward. "That's not Earth tech," he said softly. The signal was weak, almost like a whisper. It pulsed slowly, then stopped, then started again. He played it on the speaker. It wasn't words, it was a voice, soft, fading in pain. He adjusted the frequency, then he heard it. Clearly, "Help, please, someone, help." Ray's heart skipped a beat. He had heard many distress calls in his life. But this one was different. The voice wasn't human. His first thought was to report it, but something inside told him not to. The voice sounded scared, desperate, alone. He opened the star map. The signal was coming from the dark side of Callisto, one of Jupiter's moons. Why would someone be there? Ray wondered. Most pilots would ignore such a risky call, but Ray had a habit of doing the right thing even when it was stupid. "I guess I'm still a damn fool," he muttered, and started his ship. After a 9-hour flight, Ray's ship landed on the icy surface of Callisto. The place was cold, dark, and silent. The scanner pointed to a crater nearby. Ray stepped out, wearing a heated suit. His boots crunched over the frozen ground. He followed the signal until he found it. There, half buried in snow and ice, was a crashed alien escape pod. The metal was unlike anything he had seen before, smooth, glowing, almost alive. He pulled out his tools and forced the door open. Inside, he found her. A young alien girl lay motionless. Her skin was light blue, her hair silver like moonlight. Strange glowing lines ran across her arms and face like living circuits. She looked peaceful, but weak, very weak. Her chest moved slowly. She was still alive. Barely. Ray pulled off his glove and touched her wrist. Her skin was ice cold. "Don't die on me," he whispered. Suddenly, her eyes opened, glowing a soft purple. She looked at him, confused, afraid. She spoke in broken English. "Please don't let them find me." Then she fainted. Ray quickly carried her to his ship. He placed her in the medbed and started life support. As the ship lifted off, he looked back at the pod. Someone had shot it. There were burn marks, signs of a chase. "Who the hell were you running from?" Ray asked, looking at the unconscious girl. "Back in space." Ray tried to contact Mars, but something was wrong. A second ship appeared on his radar, small, fast, and following him. "Unregistered vessel." No response, the computer said. Ray's eyes narrowed. "Looks like someone found us." He turned off all lights and activated stealth mode. The ship stayed in the shadows, just watching. Ray looked at the girl. Her breathing was slower now. He checked the medbed. Her energy levels were dropping. Just she needed help soon. And someone out there didn't want her to survive. Ray had no idea who she was or what danger she brought, but he had made a choice. He had pulled her out of that frozen pod. Now he was part of the story, whether he wanted to be or not. Outside the window, the stars looked peaceful, but deep in the dark, something was hunting them. The ship floated in silence. Outside, stars moved slowly. Inside, Captain Ray Carter sat beside the medbed, watching the strange girl sleep. Her skin was still cold. The blue lines on her body glowed faintly. She didn't look dangerous. But she wasn't human, and something or someone was after her. Ray had faced many threats in his life, but this was different. He didn't even know what she was. Suddenly, her eyes opened. She gasped, sat up fast, and looked around in panic. Her hands glowed blue for a moment, like small sparks. Hey, it's okay," Ray said calmly, raising both hands. "You're safe. I'm not going to hurt you." She stared at him. Her breathing slowed. Then she looked at her hands and quickly covered the glowing lines. "Where am I?" she asked in soft, broken English. "You're on my ship. I found you on Callisto. You were almost dead." The girl blinked. Her voice was quiet. "You came, you heard the signal." Ray nodded. "Who are you? What happened out there?" There was a pause. Then she spoke. "My name is Liara. I'm not from any world, you know." Ray gave a small smile. "That part, I guessed." Liara looked away, her voice shaking. "My planet is gone." Ray sat down across from her. "Gone? What do you mean?" She looked into his eyes, and for the first time, Ray saw real pain there. "They destroyed it. My own people's civil war. Power, fear, control. It broke everything. I escaped with the last part of our legacy." Ray frowned. "What legacy?" Liara pointed to her glowing skin. "This inside me is a biokey. It unlocks something ancient. Technology made by the first race. Before us all. We called them the first sparks." Ray leaned forward. "Why would anyone want to kill you for it?" "Because," she said, "whoever controls the key, controls everything." Ray walked to the control panel, thinking hard. He had rescued survivors before, but this wasn't a rescue. This was a war he didn't understand. He turned back to her. "Why did you send that signal in English?" Liara smiled. "Just a little. Your stories, your broadcasts. They reached our borders. I learned your words. You were the only race that never asked for war. Ray raised an eyebrow. So you studied us? I watched, you said, and I chose. Chose what? Ray blinked. Wait, me. She nodded. The bond must be with someone who chooses peace. Someone who saves, not destroys. Bond, she looked down. It is the way of my people. The bio-key cannot activate unless we bond with someone by tradition. We share the key through a link. A vow. You mean marriage, Ray said, half laughing. She looked up serious. Yes, a life link, that is the price. Ray paced the room. Okay, this is getting too weird, he muttered. You crash into my life, and now you're saying I need to marry you to stop a galactic war. Liara looked at him calmly. I'm not asking for love, I'm asking for trust. That's what the vow means. The bond allows you to hold the key. Without it I will die. The energy's too much for one life form. Ray stared at her. His hands were shaking. He had been a soldier, a pilot, a hero, but this was something else, something far bigger. He looked out the window. That strange ship, the one that followed them from Callisto, was still out there watching. They're not going to stop, are they? He asked. No, Liara whispered, not until I'm dead, or the key is taken. Ray took a deep breath. All right, no vows yet, but I'll help you. We'll find a way to keep you safe. Liara gave him a long look. Then they will come, for you too. Let them, he said. I'm not afraid of shadows. Just then, the ship's alarm beeped. Incoming transmission. Scrambled, hidden ID. Ray clicked it open. A distorted voice said, Captain Carter, we know who you're hiding. Surrender the girl, or we take her and destroy everything around you. The message ended. Ray stared at the screen. Liara stood behind him, quiet. You can still turn back, she said. Ray shook his head. No, I never leave anyone behind. That night, Liara rested. Her energy was still weak. Ray sat beside her, again, holding a small photo, an old picture of his squad from the war. All gone now. All lost to battles that made no sense. He looked at Liara, so strange, so unknown, yet somehow she felt familiar. A life without war, a bond that builds, not breaks. Could it be real? He didn't know yet, but one thing was clear. This girl had no planet, and now no one but him. The stars looked peaceful, but Captain Ray Carter knew better. Peace was a lie in deep space. The strange ship that had followed them from Callisto was now gone. Not destroyed, not retreating, just missing. Like a ghost hiding in the dark. Ray sat in the pilot's seat, eyes locked on the radar. He had increased sensors, set traps, changed codes. Still, the radar was empty. Too empty. Behind him, Liara stood silently. Her long silver hair glowed faintly under the ship's low lights. They're close, she said. They always are before the first strike. Ray turned. How many are coming? She closed her eyes, listening to something deep in her bones. 3, maybe 4. Bounty hunters. Trained to track my kind. Ray nodded slowly. He had fought bounty hunters before. Ruthless, greedy, and clever. But he had never protected a target that was glowing and half-alien. You said they want the bio-key, he asked, but what if I give them a fight instead? Leah shook her head. They won't fight you. They'll wait, watch, hurt someone else first. That's how they work. Fear is their weapon. Ray sighed and stood up. Then we don't give them fear. We give them trouble. Mars Frontier Station was far behind them now. Ray couldn't go back, not without putting others at risk. He set course for Refuge Point, a secret mining outpost. On a drifting asteroid. A few people went there. No laws, no friends either. As the ship landed on the rocky surface, Ray checked his old gear, guns, armor, a small EMP mine, and a modified plasma pistol. Stay inside, he told Liara. Just need supplies and answers. She stepped forward. Let me come. I can feel their signals better than machines. Ray hesitated, then nodded. Stay close. The outpost was a mess of metal shacks and blinking signs. Broken droids limped around. People stared at Ray as he passed, recognizing him. A war hero in a forgotten place. But some faces looked too calm, too still, Ray noticed. They're here already, Liara whispered. They walked into a weapons shop. Behind the counter was an old man with cybernetic eyes. Fen, Ray's war buddy. Well, Fen smiled. The ghost of Mars walks again. Ray gave a half smile. Need a favor. Fen's smile faded when he saw Liara. You brought a target here, he hissed. Are you insane? They're sniffing around already. I don't care, Ray said. I need location jammers and a level 6 cloak shield. Now Fen shook his head. You're pulling the storm toward you. Ray looked him in the eyes. Let it come. On their way back to the ship, Ray's instincts kicked in. He stopped. The street was empty. Too empty. He turned. And that's when the first shot hit. A plasma bolt flew past his head. He ducked, pulling Liara down. From the rooftops, 2 masked bounty hunters appeared. One had a long rifle. The other held a net cannon. Ray rolled behind, cover, and fired back. His shots were clean, 1 enemy down. The second bounty hunter moved fast, jumping across walls like a spider. He aimed for Liara. She raised her hand. A pulse of blue energy burst from her palm. The hunter flew back, hitting a metal wall with a loud crack. She collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. Too much energy, she whispered. Ray helped her up. That was amazing. But don't do it again unless you have to. As they moved quickly to the ship, another shadow appeared, bigger, stronger, slower. The third hunter. He wasn't using weapons, he was using words. Captain Carter, the voice boomed. You don't have to die here. Ray turned. The figure was tall, armored with a scarred metal face. You were a hero once, the hunter said. You saved your people. Why die for her? Ray aimed his pistol. Because no one else will. The hunter nodded slowly. Then you choose death. Suddenly, two more hunters stepped out, invisible a moment before. Surrounded. Ray clenched his jaw. Then Liara stood up, weak but fierce. She stepped beside Ray, her hand glowing again. We are not afraid. The lead hunter paused. Then from the sky a blast of sound shattered the silence. A new ship descended, guns out, roaring. Fenn's voice echoed in Ray's come. You didn't think I'd let you have all the fun, did you? Ray laughed. About time. The hunters scattered under heavy fire. Ray and Liara ran back into their ship. As they lifted off, the sky behind them turned red with explosions. Inside, Ray collapsed in the pilot chair, panting. Liara sat beside him, her eyes tired but shining. You risked your life, she said softly. Ray looked at her. So did you. He paused. You said they use fear, but today we gave them something else. She tilted her head. What? Hope, he said. Outside, the stars moved again. But now they were not just running, they were fighting back together. The ship was quiet again. Outside, stars floated like distant memories. Inside, Captain Ray Carter moved slowly through the narrow halls of his ship, his body sore from the fight, his mind heavier than ever. Liara sat alone in the bedroom, her legs crossed, eyes closed. A soft glow pulsed from her skin, blue, steady, peaceful now, but Ray could feel the weight behind it. He stood at the door and watched her for a moment. She looked so calm, and yet she carried the power to destroy or save entire civilizations. He finally spoke. You almost burned yourself back there. Her eyes opened slowly. I had no choice. Ray stepped inside. There's always a choice. She looked up at him. Yes, and I chose to protect the one who saved me. Ray sighed. You keep saying I saved you, but I'm starting to think, maybe you saved me too. Liara tilted her head. From what? Ray smiled faintly. From becoming empty. There was a pause, not awkward, but silent in a way that carried meaning. Then Liara stood up. It's time for what? Ray asked, though he already guessed the bond. Ray hesitated. He had faced death, war, betrayal. But this felt bigger than all of that. You still believe this link, this connection between us, is the only way? Liara nodded. The bioki inside me is burning faster. My body wasn't made to carry it alone. It was designed to share two minds, two hearts. Without the bond, I will not survive much longer. Ray rubbed the back of his neck. And this bond, it's not just a ritual, is it? No, she said softly. It's more than words. It's memory, energy, feeling. Once it's done, we share parts of each other forever. Ray looked into her glowing eyes. What happens if I say yes? She stepped closer. You'll carry half the key. That means you'll see my past, my pain, my people. You'll feel what I feel, and I will feel you. And if I say no, she looked down, I will die. Ray stood silent for a long moment. Then he took a deep breath and nodded. Then let's do it. Liara touched her wrist, and a small device unfolded from her skin, a glowing crystal ring surrounded by tiny moving lines of light. She held it out to Ray. Touch this, she said, and think of who you really are. Ray hesitated, then placed his hand on the crystal instantly. The room disappeared. He stood in a dream, or a memory. He was in a giant alien city, golden towers, sky bridges, rivers of light flowing in the air. But everything was broken, crashed, ships, fallen statues, flames rising in the distance. And in the center of it all, a younger Liara, she cried as she watched her people fight each other, friend against friend, family against family. The skies rained fire. Suddenly he saw a dark chamber where she received the bioki. He saw her scream as her body glowed. Her veins lit up, her heart nearly stopped. Then, a moment of silence, she stood alone, holding a small star map. On it, Earth, I hope he exists, she whispered, the human who still believes in peace. Ray opened his eyes, gasping. He was back in the room. Liara looked at him, her hand still glowing. I told you, she said softly. The bond shares truth. Ray sat down, breathing hard. I saw everything. What you lost, what you carry. She nodded. Now I will see you. She touched his chest right over his heart. And suddenly, she saw flashes of war. Ray as a young soldier, running through fire. His friends falling. Explosions. Silence. His face filled with guilt. She saw him after the war, drinking, hiding, avoiding everyone, holding onto a photo of his dead crew. I don't deserve peace, he had once whispered in the dark. She stepped back, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, she said. Ray looked down. I am too. Then the bond was complete. A small mark appeared on Ray's palm, a glowing symbol, the same one on Lyra's chest. It pulsed once, then faded into his skin. They were linked, not lovers, not strangers, not partners. Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. Ray rushed to the control panel. Multiple ships on the radar. Coming fast. This isn't random, he said. Someone knew this was the moment we'd be weakest. Liara stood beside him. They feel it now. The bond is active. That means the key is ready. Ray smirked. Good. Let them come. Liara raised an eyebrow. You don't feel afraid. I feel something, Ray said, powering up the engines. But it's not fear. Not anymore. Outside the ship, the stars were no longer silent. War was coming, but now, so were they. Ray Carter had trusted many people in his life. Most of them were gone now, lost to war, lies, or time. But one name had always remained in his heart with respect. Commander Elias Thorne, his old war mentor. The man who once pulled Ray from a burning ship and said, "You're not dying today, soldier. We need you." Ray thought if anyone could understand the danger they were facing now, it was Elias. So, for the first time in weeks, Ray opened a secure military channel and sent a message. Elias, it's Carter. I found something, or someone. She's not a threat. But others are coming. We need help. For 12 hours, there was silence. Then came the reply. Short, cold. Return to Earth Outpost D9. We'll take care of everything. Ray frowned. That doesn't sound like Elias. Liara stood behind him, watching the screen. You trust him? She asked quietly. I did once, Ray said. He saved my life. Liara stepped forward, looking uneasy. My people had a saying, a blade once used in war may still be sharp but never safe. Ray didn't reply, but her words echoed in his mind. Still, they had no better plan. Supplies were low, energy was dropping, and Lyra's pulse connected to the Bible key was weakening again. Ray set course for Earth Outpost D9, a floating base on the edge of Earth's defense ring. But as they approached, something felt wrong. Too many ships. Too many weapons. No greeting, no warning, just silence. Docking port locked. The ship's AI reported. Ray landed carefully. He turned to Liara. Stay close, and don't show your mark. She nodded, wrapping her glowing wrist in a cloth. The airlock opened. Commander Elias Thorne was waiting. He looked older, colder, silver hair, long scar across his jaw, but his eyes were sharp as ever. Ray stepped forward. Elias Carter, Elias said with a nod. Long time. I brought her. She's the reason you're still alive. Elias looked at Liara, his jaw tightening. I know what she is. Ray felt a chill crawl down his spine. You knew how we've been tracking signals like hers for months, Elias said. You just confirmed our fears. Liara stepped back. This is a trap. Elias didn't deny it. Ray, you always saw the good in things. That was your strength and your weaknesses. This girl is carrying a weapon. Ancient tech that could shift the balance of the galaxy. We can't let that stay in alien hands. Ray stepped in front of Liara. She's not a threat. She is the threat, Elias said sharply. You just don't see it yet. Ray's hand moved toward his holster. Elias raised his hand slightly. I don't want to hurt you, but we will take her. And we'll study the key. That's protocol. Now the betrayal protocol. Any former ally carrying alien tech is classified as compromised. Ray froze. So that's what I am to you now, compromised. You made yourself at the moment you bonded with her. Lutna stepped forward, her voice calm. You fear what you don't understand. My people feared it too. That's why we destroyed ourselves. Elias turned to her, unmoved. Your people were recklessly. We won't make that mistake. Suddenly, Ray moved. Fast. Pulled smoke grenade from his belt and slammed it to the floor. The hallway filled with white fog. Ray grabbed Lyra's hand and ran. Blast of fire echoed behind them. They didn't look back. Back in the ship, Ray launched into orbit without permission. Missiles followed. Liara took the gunner seat and fired back, hitting 2 drones mid-air. Ray swerved through enemy fire, his eyes cold, focused. I trusted him, he said through clenched teeth. He was like a father to me. Liara looked at him. I know. Ray didn't speak for a while, then finally said, we're on our own now. She touched his arm gently. Not alone. Never alone again. They escaped into deep space. No destination, no allies, but one direction. The Forgotten Moon, a place Liara once mentioned in a whisper. A place where her ancestors left the final part of the Bible key and perhaps the truth behind it all. Ray set course. As stars slipped by, he sat in silence. His world, the human world, had turned its back on him, but the bond on his hand still glowed, and so did Liara far away. In a command room filled with red lights, Commander Elias watched. A screen showing their escape. An officer beside him asked, should we follow? Elias shook his head. No, let them run. We have what we need. He turned to another screen. It showed a copy of the bond signature. We don't need the girl anymore. We just need someone willing to use the key. And in the shadows behind Elias, someone else was watching. Smiling, waiting. The moon didn't exist on any human map. It drifted slowly in deep space, far beyond explored charts. No light reached it. No name claimed it. Even scanners called it unknown object. No data. But Lyra knew it. This place, she whispered, was sacred to my ancestors. They called it Velteron, the sleeping truth. Ray Carter stared. At the cracked gray surface of the moon as their ship prepared to land, the silence outside felt different. Not empty, but old. Heavy. I don't like places that have secrets, Ray muttered. Liara smiled faintly. That's exactly why this one must be found. The ship landed near a wide crater. Around it stood tall stone towers, half buried, broken by time. Strange markings covered them, glowing slowly as Liara stepped onto the surface. Ray followed, gun on his back, eyes sharp. He didn't trust silence anymore. Inside the crater was a hidden stairwell, descending deep underground. The deeper they went, the warmer the air became. Old energy hummed through the stone, not machine-made, but alive. Liara touched a wall. This place was built by the first Sparks, the ancient race who gave us the biokeys. Ray raised an eyebrow. You said they disappeared. She nodded. They didn't die. They left, but they left behind a warning. At the bottom, a massive door blocked their path. In its center was a round panel, glowing faintly. Ray looked at Liara as that she nodded. It needs the bond. They placed their hands together on the panel. Her left, his right. The mark on Ray's palm lit up. The door rumbled open. What lay beyond wasn't just a room. It was a hall of memories. Floating crystals hovered in the air, each one glowing with shifting images. Alien cities, dying stars, machines building planets, and humans. Ray froze. That's Earth. He stepped forward. A crystal floated toward him. As it touched his chest, his mind filled with images. He saw Earth. Thousands of years ago, deserts, forests, early tribes, but above, ships hovered silently, not invading, watching. The first Sparks were there, not as gods, not as rulers, but as seeders. They planted knowledge, protected early minds. They even left behind a message. A voice echoed inside Ray's head. We give your kind the seed of growth, but beware, power without balance becomes destruction. Ray stumbled back, breath heavy. They visited us. They helped build our first civilizations. Lyra nodded. They helped many worlds. Yours, mine, others, but not all races used the gift wisely. Another crystal floated to Liara. She saw her ancestors proud, noble, and then broken. Civil war, greed. The key turned into a weapon. I always believed the bond was for control, she whispered, but it was meant for balance. Ray's voice was quiet. The first Sparks wanted to minds to hold the key so no single being could abuse it. She looked at him. That's why you and I were chosen. Suddenly, the chamber flickered. A holographic figure appeared, tall, featureless, glowing white. It spoke in a deep, calm voice. If you are seeing this, then the key has bonded again. A rare moment. A final test remains. Ray stepped back. Test. The figure continued. To prove balance, both bearers must share a truth, not memory, but choice. One must give up the key fully and trust the other. Ray and Liara looked at each other. The room pulsed, waiting. Ray clenched his fists. It's a trick. If one of us gives up the key, the other can be corrupted. Liara stepped forward. Or we prove them wrong. She placed her hand on Ray's chest. I give it to you. The light from her mark faded. Ray gasped as her energy entered him. Sharp, warm, overwhelming. For a moment, he held the entire key. Then he pushed it back, splitting it between them again. The chamber glowed gold. The hologram spoke. You have passed. The key is now complete, balanced, stable, and awakened. The walls shook gently. A hidden panel opened behind them, revealing a small cube, ancient, silent, humming with power. Liara stepped forward and picked it up. This is the source node, she said. It connects to all lost tech seeded by the first Sparks. With it we could rebuild or destroy worlds. Ray exhaled. No pressure, huh? As they returned to the surface, a transmission crackled on Ray's com. A voice, Ray Carter. This is Commander Elias. You think running to a dead moon hides you? You just lit up every scanner in the quadrant. We're coming. Ray turned to Liara. He copied the bond signature. He's trying to force the key. Liara stared at the cube in her hands. We can't run anymore. We have to make the first move. Ray nodded. Then we take the fight to them. The stars above weren't quiet anymore. They were watching and waiting, because now the key had chosen its side. Ray Carter had made many hard choices in his life. Orders or honor, war or peace, kill or be killed. But nothing ever felt like this. This was bigger than one battle. This was the future. The source node, now fully awakened, pulsed in Leah's hands. It was warm, like a heart, alive. It held the ancient network of the first Sparks, tech that could rebuild planets or erase them, and every ship in the quadrant knew it. Ray stood on the bridge staring at the radar incoming fleet. 47 ships, the AI said. Earth Command, unknown vessels, and one unknown flagship. Liara looked up. That's not human, that's Council. Ray frowned. The Galactic Council? Yes, she said quietly. They were watching, waiting. And now they come to judge. The sky above the forgotten moon lit up like a second sun. Ships of every shape and size surrounded the moon. Human destroyers, alien carriers, silent drones from species Ray had never seen. A message came through all channels. A voice filled with power. This is the Council of Unity. Surrender the source node, or face galactic erasure. Ray replied, his voice calm but firm. This key belongs to no empire, not yours, not Earth's. It belongs to those who guard it, not those who fear it. The voice returned, colder now. Then you choose war. On board the ship, alarms blared. Ray looked at Liara. We can't fight them all. No, she agreed. But we don't have to fight. Not yet. She turned to the node. There's one last thing. The sparks left behind a message, a final command. She placed the cube on the ship's core. It merged with the system. Lights flickered. Ray raised his weapon. Are you sure about this? No, she said honestly. But it's not about certainty. It's about trust. The ship glowed, not from weapons, but from within. The bond between Ray and Liara pulsed, not with power, but memory. Then it happened. A wave of golden light spread across space. Silent, instant, every ship stopped, and in their minds they saw the truth. Each captain, each alien, each soldier. They saw what Ray saw, what Liara felt, what the first sparks had warned. They saw the history of power abused, of planets burned, of technology twisted by fear. But they also saw something new, a human who had every reason to give up but didn't, an alien who lost her world, but chose hope. Two species, once strangers, now bonded by choice, not force. The node showed them a different future, not ruled, not feared, shared. On the Earth command ship, Commander Elias stared at the screen, his hand shaking. What is this? He whispered. His officers watched in silence, some in awe, some in tears. A young lieutenant spoke. Sir, I think they're asking us to stop. Elias closed his eyes. He remembered Ray as a young soldier, smiling in the mud, saving civilians. Even when ordered not to, he's still the same man, Elias whispered. Maybe I'm the one who changed. He opened the come line. Ray, stand down, you win. Or maybe we all do. On the council flagship, the lead ambassador sat frozen. His race had destroyed 3 worlds in fear of the node. Now he saw a vision of peace that didn't come from control, but from choice. He turned to his advisors. Perhaps balance is not a lie after all. He gave the order. All ships, power down. Inside the ship, Ray fell into his seat, exhausted. It worked. Liara smiled. No war today. But what about tomorrow? He asked. She reached for his hand. We'll face it the same way together. Weeks later, a new space treaty was signed. The node would not be kept by any one race. Instead, it would be guarded by a bond, always two. Always shared. Ray and Liara were chosen as the first guardians of the node. Not rulers. Not weapons. Keepers of balance. Ray stood outside their ship, on the edge of a new colony world, green, full of life. Children from many species played together. Traders smiled. No guns, no fear. Liara joined him, her silver hair glowing softly in the sunlight. You still think I dropped into your life by accident? She teased. Ray laughed. No, I think maybe I was always waiting for you. She took his hand. We changed the galaxy. Ray, he looked out at the stars. Not bad for a pilot and a runaway girl. They smiled. Above them the stars watched. Silent again, but this time full of hope.